expectations for the upcoming season for yourself and the team?
I think it's gonna be a great one for us.
No favorite video game or board game?
I think it's gonna be a great one for us. Bringing back a great group.
Yeah.
A lot of vets, great young players. So I think we'll come out
Remember
championship
that
team.
DJ hero for a little bit too?
For myself,
It was pretty fun.
just trying to make
I bought
defensive team.
I remember they had a special
defense
edition
is
that was like an
always
Eminem
what I
slash
wanna
Jay-Z
be
special
great at,
edition.
so
It was like 20 bucks more.
defensive
Came
team.
with like a special.
How was your off season? Were you overseas at all this year, or was just getting healthy and?
I played in Israel for a month,
Ripping it up in
and
my parents' basement.
then I was here pretty much the rest of the time, running camps, training, and working out with the coaching staff.
How are you feeling physically?
Great.
Of course, you always say that.
You played in the global mixed gender game. Did you learn anything from that? Prepare for the upcoming season?
It was a different experience being on the court with guys, some ex-NBA players, some guys that play overseas. So it was a different experience, but fun at the same time. So it's something that could be great in this country. You have a few teams already in the works, and they're trying to get more. So it could be something that's great and can blow up. I think it'll be good for both leagues, the NBA, WNBA, and something that can combine this both. So something that's going to be great.
Every year you've been in the league, you seem to improve every off season. What's one of the things you put work in on this off season?
So I essentially took the three-point shot out of my game last year, and I only shot maybe like 4 or 5. So the coaches told me I had to shoot more. So I'm basically building that back into my game. That's what I've been working on all off season.
How are you feeling about the team as a whole? It seems that, just observing the chemistry seems pretty good. You guys seem like a pretty tight group.
Yeah, I think they're going to be great. We're bringing back a good core of our team, and the young kids are coming in, filling right in to the spots that we have, and new players like Deborah, she's coming in and just clicking with us. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a great year for us, so something that we'll watch out for.
You mentioned some of the youngsters. Any early impressions by any of them that stood out? I know it's only been a few days of camp.
The young kids have been doing great. They're picking up on stuff pretty quick. All of them, pretty much. Ariel's been great. Our first-round draft pick, she's been great. And Maisha Hines has stood out a lot for us as players and coaches. So we'll see. It's just a tough team to make, but it's there. We got spots, so it's there for the taking. This is all about who comes in and plays and produces.
With Emma taking a year off this year, yeah, that hurts, right?
My road dog, man. Been here. Me, her, and Taylor been here for this would have been our 6th season altogether. So.
How can you guys show the productive, show that she's still here, improve like the minutes going on? Somebody's got to step up.
I think it'll be a little different, but the same. We'll have Elena play more at the 4, not so much at the 3 as she did last year. So that'll be a spot play. We'll bring LaToya Pringle back, bring in Deborah Peters. So we have some people coming in that'll be good for us and help us fill that role. It's not going to be a one-man job. It's going to be a group of players collectively doing more than they did last year. So we'll see. Emma's a big piece to what we do, so with her being gone, we'll figure it out. It may not be early in the season, but we'll figure it out throughout the season.
What's it like having Mo back in town?
It's great. I'm always here my first couple years, and she's always been a great vet since I got here, stepping into the league, stepping foot on the court first day. She's been someone I looked up to and who's led me into where I am today, so it's great to have her back here.
I know you said you're working on a 3-ball this offseason. Last year we saw you kind of mid-post and sometimes on the low block. Last year, is that going to continue?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do a little bit of everything I did last year, but just instead of stepping inside that 3-point line to shoot, I'm going to take a few more threes this year. It's not like I was a bad 3-point shooter, but they gave me the option to shoot them or not, and I figured being more aggressive and getting to the basket was more in my wheelhouse, so that's what I did. But we'll see. I've been working on it a lot, so it should transfer over into the game, so we'll see.
Coach and Elena were really highlighting how much work Tiana's put in this off season and the transformation. Did you work out with her? What did you see from her
we've
this
always
off
here.
season?
Me, Tiana, and Elena and Taylor were all here this off season. Other than a month I was gone, a little bit he was gone with her book tour. But Tiana's done an amazing job transforming her body, transforming her game, and becoming a great player. We all see her like walk in. Players who haven't seen her in a while is like, Tiana, like, wow, like you look great, you know. But she's putting a lot of work. I've seen it over time. We've in the weight room together, on court. So you should see a big improvement from Tiana. She's putting a lot of work, and I hope everything we've done this all season transfers over to the games.
What will that open up for your team, having that? Because she's so versatile.
She is. Her and Elena, great shooters.
Yeah.
So it's going to open up the floor a lot for us, because you can't really help off of her. She's been working on the game, been working on her ball handling. So we'll see. I expect great things from her.
All right. You're putting the pressure on.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome. Another wonderful Tuesday. Another great week. A lot has happened in sports as always. Welcome to The Focus. This is your first time tuning in. We truly appreciate you. You are a regular. Welcome back. Got joined tonight by Miss Octavia White. We got Cardell Dudley here. Wilson Turpick Jr. And we have a lot to discuss. If you do follow us on social media, we're going to talk about the Washington Mystics WNBA season is pretty much underway. They played their first preseason game this past Sunday. So that's like literally like 2 days ago. We got our draft series with the Wizards continuing. We got 2 new players to break down. Cardell thoroughly enjoyed doing this the past couple weeks. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. And we got another breakdown series with Jamal over at 9450. Can't wait to talk about what he's going to show you guys this week. And for the first time in quite a while, man, we got like a long version of rapid fire. Yeah. Feel like we haven't in a while because we just been so busy. So we're gonna take advantage of this little break in the schedules before stuff gets hectic once again, and enjoy rapid fire like in the old days, you know, in the past times. That being said, all right, the Washington Mystics, first preseason game of the year. They got out the way on Sunday. They took on the reigning champs, the Minnesota Lynx. There's a couple players missing from both sides, as expected with the WNBA, because it's not the NBA due to the pay scale. We talked about this before. A lot of the good, very good players, they play overseas.
They gotta get that money.
Hey, and you can't get mad at it. Secure the bag. They do that, and then they come back. So both teams were missing players, but that doesn't mean that something couldn't be taken from this game. Unfortunately, it was not televised. That's something, WNBA has to do a little bit of a better job with, especially with preseason. We want to watch. We want to be able to break down and share with you guys. That being said, still a couple things to be that you're able to take away from the game just by following the good people that were there in Des Moines, Iowa. Box score watching just a little bit. But Cardell, one of the rookies, stood out. One of the ones that we talked about last week. So go ahead, tell us what you thought about Maisha Hans-Allen this week.
I think she stepped right in to show, what she can be down the road, which is, a double-double machine. Someone you could just basically wake up, pencil in, she's going to get at least 10 to 10. Because that's exactly what she was in the ACC, at Louisville. Obviously, she didn't play against, their true lineup that she would see in the regular season, you know, depending on what Tabal do with the lineup. But, you know, in her first game where, you know, NBA action for her to just step in and get 13 points, 4 rebounds, and two steals, you know, that shows you she's not scared, she's not fearful, she's ready to go. So, obviously one of the top players in the ACC, one of the top players in college basketball for a Final Four Louisville team. So, for her, just keep working, you know, and you know how Tabal is. If you working and you putting in work, he'll find minutes for you. So, especially with Beastman out, they're gonna be. I think they're gonna kind of fill her void with committee.
Yeah.
So I think it's a hell of a start. She continues to be consistent. She'll get her fair share of minutes.
Yeah. So WNBA, if you guys aren't too familiar with, is a very compressed schedule. So only 2 preseason games. The Mystics' final preseason game is this Saturday at the University of Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of Deladon going back to the old stomping grounds.
Right.
Just kind of a cool vibe. I'm sure it's going to be fun. Fortunately, we will not be there. But the regular season tips off the following weekend, which we do plan to be in the building, and that's May 20th. Looking forward to that. So what we're going to do, we're going to play I guess a quick little game, I guess. Look at the roster. WNBA roster is only 12 deep. They used to be 13 back in, like, you know, pre-2009. Rule went in because the league wasn't making enough money. They went down from 13 to 11. Rule changed a few years later, bumped it back up to 12. I hope that, you know, everything continues to trend upward. Money keeps coming in. They can up the roster a little bit because there's a lot of talent in this league this year, and to only have 12 players, there's good players being left off teams. That being said, what are your 12 to make this team? We're going to try to project. I can go first if you want.
I'm going to just listen.
I'm going to go first. And again, this is just projections because it's hard to figure this out because we know Emma's not here this year. But, we're going to have the screen up. Is a list of about 14, 15 players, and it was really hard to do this. So, I got Mo Curry, Natasha Cloud, Elena Deladon, obviously, Tiana Hawkins, Taylor Hill, TRP, got LaToya Sanders, Christy Tolliver, Crystal Thomas, because it's literally the only true big on the roster. I feel like you can't go forward without her. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, and then the 2 roster spots. I'm going to go with the 2 youngsters. I'm going to go Ariel Atkins and Maisha Hines-Allen. And it was hard for me to try to choose between Maisha Hines-Allen and Devereaux Peters, who didn't play WNBA last year, but she's been in the league for, you know, since coming out of Notre Dame. She's another quality player. So I know it's going to be tough for Coach. At Media Day, he did say he believes, he was asked about how many open roster spots. He said 2. So I'm anxious to see how they get filled. But those are the 12 that I'm going with.
I like your 12, though.
I appreciate it.
I don't know,
It was tough, man. Like,
with the rookies on our board, you know, I want to see them do a little bit more before maybe I don't know because they really didn't get a chance to show what they can do. So, you know, if they get some minutes, then I can be able to just kind of see. You know, but right now, like you said with 2, that's tough, and obviously it's gonna be front court. But that's tough, man. I'm looking. I mean, I'm just
because it's like you're looking and you know, correct me if I'm wrong. You're trying to look and you're thinking about Emma not being there, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, you gotta make sure the front court players are there. But at the same time, it's not the NBA when rookies get a long leash to play. So it's kind of like you don't want to not waste a roster spot, but you don't want to use one of your 12 spots on a player that may not play or may not get the chance to develop. But at the same time, you don't want to lose out on that player either, you know. So
it's like with the final spot, who you gonna go with? You can AJ Alick, or you gonna go with like you said, Devereaux Peters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, more than likely with the state of the team, you might go with the veteran. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who played there rather than you know, a rookie. But I kind of want to see what she's gonna do first, and then that would be the tell to AJ Alick. Saying I think in Delaware, I think that's what he's gonna probably do, just let the rookies play and see what it is. But yeah, that's tough. Man, I'm being honest, man. I'm looking.
No, hey, look, I sat there.
Because the majority is signed, sealed, and delivered. Like, it's nothing really open.
Like, I got through like the first 10, right, without hesitation. Because I'm like, okay, they're here.
Right, I was like,
and then after that, it's like, but who do you fill the last 2 with? And then one of the ones that's hard is you have to pencil in Taylor Hill, and she's still coming off the injury, but you have to pencil her in.
Yeah, you have to.
So
And is Christy and all those ladies, are they coming back this week?
Crystal's already back. Crystal Thomas, she's back. She got back today. Christy's on the way back.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
what if he say
He can
all
go
right,
several ways with this.
that's what I'm saying. He might play Crystal. Say I'm gonna play her, but I'm gonna sit Christy, let her rest.
Yeah.
So that would be advantage for Alex because she might get in the game. You see what I'm saying? Because you know, Christy's sitting, but then on the flip side, Christy might play, Crystal might sit. So that's what I'm saying. It is
Because you got several players where you know what they can do already here. And then, I mean, it's hard.
Right.
It's because a lot of the players, like, their roster has a lot of versatility. So, you know, only a couple have, like, defined roles where they can't be moved a couple spots, up or down. So that's tough. It's just really tough. But we're eager to see who ends up making the team. We'll be finding out, obviously, later this week. But WNBA coverage, man, make sure you get over to finestmag.com and mymonosports.com. We look forward to having a fun season. Man, it's always fun. Summer is definitely
Here.
hey, man, look, one is here, and then two, you know, that's a big void in the summer if we didn't have that. So definitely look forward to it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, one of our we're going to continue both our new series. We're going to get into in the second segment. We got the draft series. Cardell and I both picked a player yet again that we think may fit for the Washington Wizards at the spot that they're drafting it. And then, you know, we got Jamal Hayward with the 9-4-50 breakdown, which it's interesting because the guy that I got, I think the move that Jamal's talking about today, I think this is something with that kid. It would help him early on before, you know, the next part of his development begins. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Focus. See you on the other side. All right, folks, welcome back. All right, the draft series, talking about people that's going to fit next year's Washington Wizards team in this year's draft. We know they're going to be picking, you know, mid, kind of bottom of the first round. So there's going to be a lot of talent available. All right, the player, I'm going to go with another wing. Last week I went wing. This week I'm going to continue the trend. Obviously, Cardell and I have changed how we feel that they both need bigs, but at the same time, you can't ever have enough wings in this day and age in the NBA, or the WNBA rather. But what we did see was on the Wizards bench, they didn't have quite enough, and you still need players that can create for themselves. Last week talked about Troy Brown, he can create for others. This week is about Lonnie Walker, and he can possibly get to creating for others later. But as for next year, talk about what he can bring to the table. 6'4" guard. I'm looking forward to the official measurements, but 6'4" guard, 6'10" wingspan, 204 pounds, 11.5 points this year at Miami, right under 1 steal a game, shot 34 from 3, 48 from the floor. I'll talk about the positives. He's extremely athletic. He has a good first step. His shooting motion, you know, is compact, is fluid. Release, he's a solid slasher in terms of coming off the ball. His handle is good enough to create for himself at times late in the shot clock. But, you know, those are kind of for more straight line drives or kind of quick separation moves to be able to get a jumper off. And then defense, his on-ball defense is a plus at this time, which is big for most kids coming out because a lot of them don't get a chance to do that because a lot of people are stuck in zone and, you know, you find out if they can sink or swim on the next level. In terms of negatives, talked about his handle. We're talking about projecting to the next level. It's kind of a shaky handle if we're looking at the next level. It's not quite there yet. Has to work on his offhand and just improve his handle overall, just get it a little bit tighter. He got to improve his finishing at the rim. He has no issue getting to the rim, but for someone that much length and explosiveness, this has improved at finishing at the rim. Didn't end up taking a lot of foul shots as much as he, you know, took his forays into the paint. So, and off-ball defense, as good as he is on the ball, a lot of just, you know, little kid type mistakes off the ball, get lost, lose his man with the screen here or there. He's able to make up for it at times because of his you know, just the type of athleticism he has. But still, you know, in NBA, you know, ball watching gets you, that's usually results in points for the other team. Care how athletic you are, you can't always recover. And I mean, the other thing would be shot selection. But I think that's something that'll be cured as it pertains to the Wizards, because at times if you're playing with John or even playing with Thomas, you're gonna have someone hitting you in rhythm to take those type of shots. I feel like he's a 3-and-D guy that can help year one, but he still has a little bit of a wiggle to get his own shot. But there's still room to grow for him. But in terms of solid bench contributor, it's something that can definitely help. He fits a lot of the things that they need. Is another plus athlete on the wing. Is a guy that can hit the three. Obviously got improved in knocking them down, at a high level. And just being able to at times create for yourself is huge for that Washington bench, because there was many times late in shot clock situations where people can't and the ball just ends up being hot potato late. Having Ty Lawson was a plus. He's someone who can create for himself, but prior to him getting there, players that they had is kind of like, those are guys that have to be fed versus being able to eat for themselves at times. So that's just kind of where I'm at. But I do think with this staff, Lonnie would be, you could see him coming in here year one and contributing. And just with the staff just getting better and having a possibility down the road to be maybe, work on his handle enough to be able to operate the pick and roll, things like that. But a 3-and-D guy year one is not a bad thing. So that's where I'm at with Lonnie Walker.
Okay. As for me, I had a fan favorite with a lot of people I know, Javon Carter from West Virginia.
Yep.
To me, he might be the best, defensive guard maybe since Gary Payton coming out of college. His work speaks for itself. He averaged 17.3 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 3 steals per game. Led D1 actually in total steals with 112, and second in D1 steals per game, like I said, with 3. Shot 42% from the field. I'm going to get more into that, but he shot 39% from 3, okay. 85% from the free throw line, only committed 2.6 turnovers a game, so he take care of the ball. He's projected to go between, late first, early second, which is why I think the Wizards got a shot at him. If Ty don't stay, they need a reliable backup. One thing I learned about him, he's not just a lockdown defender. He actually is a good offensive player as well. He can shoot the mid-range. He can shoot the deep ball. He can get to the line, make plays for others. He understands pace. Has good handles. You're not going to rip him. He's strong. He's gritty. Obviously, being from the Chicago area, most people don't know he played AAU with Jalen Brunson. They were the backcourt. So, and the story goes, Bob Huggins in there early in the morning, 8 a.m., drinking coffee, trying to wake up himself, and he see this kid going to guard at 94 feet. And he's like, what the hell? He's like, oh, man, they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? AAU, 8 a.m., called his assistants. Said, we need to get this kid. What do he do well? I know he played defense. That's all I know at 94 feet, so we going to get him. So that's been his calling card, but he can actually play offense as well, which would be a great compliment if, say, the Wizards, for instance, do draft him. He can relieve Wall. He can still run the team, obviously hit shots, but he's a good athlete, not a great athlete. Obviously, no one's like a Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose before the injuries or whatnot, or what you see out of Dennis Smith Jr. right now. But he plays hard, man. Great motor, never say die. He's not going to stop playing until the clock hits 0, which is what the Wizards need more. A lot of teams in the league, actually, you know what I'm saying? So, smart player, 4-year player. They might use that against him. I don't. That just means he's more ready to come in and contribute immediately. You kind of see what a lot of these youngsters come in, especially during playoff time, they kind of get neutralized when the vets like, are we going to cut all this cute stuff out because of their know-how. He kind of got that. So, I love that about him. The cons, sometimes he can get too happy on defense. He plays with his hands because he got it like that, and he can get into foul trouble. And at the NBA level, they're going to make him pay. So if he stayed more disciplined on the defensive end and just stay between the man and the ball, pressing like he does, he can immediately be up there in all defensive NBA defensive teams real quick. Obviously, his size 6'2", size do bother him at times when he's trying to finish in the lane. By him being so tough, with his heart. Sometimes your biggest strength can be your biggest weakness. He don't want to back down. Sometimes bringing the ball back out, he'll try to take the tough shot, and it can, results in a horrible shot, and he don't finish, and then that can basically like a turnover for West Virginia. But he always make up for it down the stretch on another play. And one thing about him, that day I know the draft, gurus want to hold against him. He's a relative late bloomer. You know what I'm saying? Like, You know, they don't really look at the product. They look at the fact, like, why wasn't he this good early? Why wasn't he the one that done? So that may hurt him. All I know is he got invited to the combine, so he's definitely in the mix. And to me, and I said this earlier, if I'm him, I'm like, whoever they got projected ahead of me at point guard,
yes, sir.
I need to work out with them. Simple as that. And then we're going to see. And I don't think none of those point guards want them. They want those problems. They don't want to work that hard in the workout and get exposed. So, you know, I love this kid, man. You know, if the Wizards can get a big out the draft, they can come in, athletic, protect the rim, finish, rebound, help out pick and roll, and then somehow get him, that's a hell of a draft.
Like, job well done.
Yeah, so, and he may be there. I think they're going to overlook him. So
That could be the thing. You might be able to get the big late first round, mid first round, and come back in a second. Maybe if you got to come up or whatnot, if he's sliding, because like you said, you know, we're in the era where you get punished for staying in school a little bit longer to finish a game.
Right.
No matter what the sport is.
My fear is
You know,
a great team
yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
him, like
yeah.
say the Celtics or something,
Yeah.
because Rozier gonna get a nice bag. So
Oh, of course.
you know, he's
got
gone.
to.
Yeah, he's gone. So my fear is that coming back up Kyrie, oh Lord Jesus, man, or the Spurs. So you come up back up DeJounte Murray, somebody of that caliber, or I think T.J. McConnell gonna go, but they got Markelle there, so we might be saved up. But I think a good team on the verge, he'll fit in well with the Pacers, how gritty they are. So
There's so many different places.
if I'm the Wizards and he's telling the boy, you need to get that before he make you pay.
No questions asked.
Simple as that.
And especially, I love the part that you bring him up, because you know they might have to make a decision between keeping Ty and or Mike Scott, you know, because of the money situation.
Right.
So if you keep Mike, and unfortunately you got to let Ty go, get you a backup point guard. Like, that makes the decision that much easier in my eyes. But we'll see what happens. So before we finish this segment off, we got to head over to the breakdown series with 9-4-50's Jamal Hayward. Today, I'm going to talk about a proper jab step. And that's something which is that jab step, which I think is something where Lonnie Walker can help him until that handle gets like at that league level. With that explosiveness in the first step, you don't have to have a crazy handle. If you're able to understand your angles, get by your man and explode, leave the ground, you can cause trouble. You can cause trouble, man. It's important. But I'm happy that, you know, hey, it's fundamental. Big fundamentals. Like, this is a wonderful, wonderful move. Look forward to checking it out. So again, it's about to be Jamal Hayward, 9-4-50, demonstrating how to use a proper jab step. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break. You're watching The Focus.
Straight jabbing right. So 3 things that you utilize when you do jab steps. First, you jab towards the defender. So you jab at the defender. The second thing is you shift the ball to the direction that you want the defender to think that you're going. The third thing is you shift your upper body. So you shift your upper body to that direction that you want the defender to think that you're going. So at the defender, shift the ball, shift your upper body. The same principles that you use jabbing to the right is the same principles that you use jabbing to the left.
All right, again, want to thank Jamal Hayward from 9-4-50 for teaching everybody this week how to properly use a jab step.
It's a lost art.
Man, it's a lost art. I heard it makes the game easier. Just
didn't
a
know that.
rumor. All right, so this week's DC United update. They were off this past week, but I want to give congrats, a quick shout out to former Black and Red player Jaime Marino. I'm so sorry. Was inducted into DC Sports Hall of Fame this past week. So kudos to him. And then coming off another bye week, the Black and Red, they hit the road. Again, they're going to be on the road until July 14th. All right, it's going to be a theme the next couple weeks. They're always going to be on the road. They hit the road again, this time to face Real Salt Lake. DC United is 1-4-2 at this point. Real Salt Lake is 3-5-1. For DC United, it's the same thing. It's just about trying to continue to gel and get to a place where they can start stacking wins. They only have 1 win on the year so far, and it came in one of their 2 home away from home games. Outside of that, the road has not been kind to them in the least bit. So hopefully we'll see if they can, fix that going forward. Oh, another thing, we talked about the summer and what that means. We talked what it means in terms of the WNBA. Locally, it means the Pitts League is back. So I got Rob over there. It starts this week. Looking forward to it. One of the great things that warms my heart oh so much. One day this year, all the games. One day, one day a week on Saturdays at Largo High School. I am thoroughly enthused by this. But get over to their accounts on social media, check those out, give them a follow, and you'll end up seeing us there throughout the summer. We frequent the Pitts League as best we can. So Octavia,
Yes.
gonna ask you. So what do you think about them having a women's side? It's like the second.
I love it. I think it's great. For me personally, it's great to see a lot of girls I used to play with or girls that played, ahead of me or under me, still get back out there and play. It's not me, sorry. My body won't let me do it anymore. But it's
making a comeback.
What?
That's what the word is.
I thought that was like, why you leak that information?
What's
man?
that?
That was
It's
the big
like-
announcement.
I ain't on
It's too
nobody.
early, man.
I mean, they got 8 teams. I'm not on any one of those 8. Unfortunately, guys, I have retired. But I think it's great. I think it's, it gives women another opportunity because there aren't, let's be honest, there aren't, I want to say many, I really want to say none, respected women leagues that are, in the summer, whether they be pro-am, semi-pro, whatever, and there's not a lot. So I love the fact that, we incorporated this into, the Pitts, that they, have a women's league and they have women that are actually coming out to the games. Because even last year, it's always been, with them moving it to Saturday now, I feel like it's going to be a lot better because I think it was so hard for, people that work and, and trying to do it at night, to still accommodate people because people do work, but then there are people that work at night and there are people who work late and, there are other leagues that are going on. So I think it's great to have it, all on one weekend. Give everybody a chance to get out there and not have to worry about, missing games. And you don't want to hear people say, well, we lost this game because so-and-so wasn't here. And so, this year, the model it's always been, bring your A game, so basically it's going to be like that all year. Like there's no cut cards. I'm interested to see, the new men's teams that are coming out, who's going to be the rookie of the year this year,
Shout out to the new teams on both sides.
Yes, so there's 12 guys teams, 8 girls teams, so it's 20 teams altogether.
Expanded the girls side too. It's not bad. Expanded the girls side too.
Yeah. So it's 8 girl teams, 12 guy teams, so 20 teams altogether. So you definitely have to come out. It's free admission. I already seen on Instagram they got a host coming out this weekend. For opening night and everything. It should be a great summer. I'm very looking forward to it and seeing how it works out.
I as well. So also, just as you keep up with us here at The Focus, over at Finest Mag, over at Mamano Sports, for the other coverage in this area, don't forget the Pitts League. We're gonna have that up as well.
Simple. It's on Instagram at the Pitts PITS League. I'm pretty sure most people know who Pettis is. Yeah. So you can always follow the Pitts League on Instagram. Even if you follow Pettis, you gotta know what the Pitts League is. So it's real easy to get to it.
Definitely agree with you. So congrats for another year of the Pitts League. What is this? Year 10 right there?
I feel like it may be more than 10. I feel like last year was 10 maybe.
I got to double check with him, so it's an excuse to get him on.
It's a lot of years, and it's going to keep going and keep growing, and I'm just proud of Pettis, everything that he puts into it, because what a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is that Pettis really he puts a lot into it. He really cares about the league. He goes above and beyond. Like, before he was trying to do just this full time, like he was working a full-time job. He's a father. He's coaching at Largo girls team. So he's everywhere. Putting on summer camps for Quinn. Yep. They got this year they have it for here in Maryland and in North Carolina. So they'll have 2 this year. So, he has a lot going on, but he always makes time for the Pit. So make sure y'all get out there.
Indeed, please do. And if you guys do get out there, don't be afraid to say hi.
Yeah, we're friendly.
We'll be there most of the time. All right, so Cardell, what you got for us this week, man? I'm so happy. Like, we literally got like a whole 25 minutes.
I am excited.
I don't know. Like, one part of me hates it because he's about to ask questions, but we got time, man. Let's go.
It's been a long time.
It has.
Hey.
Just before the Wizards season started. But
before life ended as we knew it.
David Fizdale was hired as the new head coach in the Knicks. So do y'all like the move?
I do. I don't think I think everybody feels like he shouldn't have been fired in Memphis anyway, but it happened. I think it's a good move to get a veteran coach in there, because I feel like for a while, after, I can't even remember what coach it was that they let go before, They got the last one, but there hasn't been a lot of like tenured coaches, for long periods of time that have been in New York. So I think it's a great look. I still was kind of, in the back of my head hoping for Mark Jackson because I'm a huge Mark Jackson fan. I think that would be a great fit, but I get it. He doesn't want to leave the booth. He did it once. He got burned. I don't blame him. Stay where you at, get your money, do what you need to do. But I would have liked it, but I like this move as well.
I mean, I love the first thing that popped up in my mind, like in terms of quotes coming from it, was him telling Emmanuel Mudiay, "We're gonna get you right," because that's a talented kid where we've yet to see it. And the other thing with Fizdale, knowing he's coming out of the Miami culture, and then just the things he's done on his own, even at Memphis, that roster was ravaged by injury, and that was a group that we never had to worry about coming out every night and competing and playing disciplined. With at times, and this is not a knock on those players, but a bunch of G Leaguers at times, playing on your starting on your NBA team. They're supposed to call those guys up, and that was the roster for a little while, and they were competing in the West and doing what needed to be done. And I agree with you guys. Definitely shouldn't have been fired. It's a blessing for the Knicks. Had that not happened, I doubt that they made the right decision. And this feels like for the first time in a while, they made the right decision.
Yeah, in a while.
From an administrative standpoint. So kudos to him. And I think he's going to try to change that culture and get back the Knicks to, get back. The league's always fun when the Celtics, Knicks, Lakers are good. Try to get the Knicks back in the right direction, man. So I'm really happy for him.
I mean, I like the move as well. I think he did wrong in Memphis. Everybody know about the perceived drama between him and Marcus, so we don't need to get into that. But coming from that championship culture, one thing I like about him, and it's funny you bring up Mudiay. A lot of people don't realize, man, it's not the player fault. Like at least half the time that they don't become what they become. It's a lot of times the franchise. Everybody just look at it like the NBA. You get it, you supposed to be ready to play. Nah, man, it's the highest level. It's a learning process. You gotta keep developing. Everything is elite, from the scouting to the coaching to the, the organization, the resources they go into, nutritionists, everything, trainers, everything is elite. So if on one team everything is great, and then you on a team where it might just be average, who gonna have the edge when y'all compete?
And that's huge.
And that's what I think he's gonna bring, player development. So people don't understand that's how the Warriors got to where they were. They were not projected to be what they were. That was the Clippers kind of be projected in the spot they are. But they develop, and that's a kudos to the organization. So I think that's what he's trying to bring to the Knicks, and if they do, they're gonna be, good shape. And going to just let him rock out and don't interfere. They'll be fine.
They definitely will.
They'll be fine. NBA executives, multiple NBA executives, anticipating Dwayne Casey be fired after the sweep at the hands of the Cavs. Should or shouldn't he be fired?
For me, it's always a toss-up because I feel like you said, just like you just mentioned, like it's a franchise, it's a culture, it's everybody that's put into it. But at this point, and it's still hard because, a lot of times, like, the coach is not out on the floor. He can't make them do what they're supposed to do. So it's hard. But I just feel like at this point, because something has got to give. There has to be some type of shakeup. They have to do something. They just re-signed Kyle Lowry. So, last year, so he ain't really going nowhere right now. So it's like they have to do something. I feel for him, honestly, because, who would want to be in that situation? But to me, something's got to give. Something has to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
If he does get fired, I feel like it's just another, scapegoat type front office type thing in the big leagues. I think some of the situations he could have done better at, which I agree, like in terms of trying to get the ball out of Bron's hands at certain times and things of that nature. And some people talk about his adjustments, but at the same time, nobody was talking about those things when that team was like anchored by their bench and rocked through the regular season. And that's something that came from development, and him and his staff played a role in that. So I understand something has to change because it's just sports. I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing as him, but that's just where I'm at. I don't think you should fire him, but that's just me.
In a fair world, no.
Yeah.
This is Peter Pan and Disney.
Yeah,
never.
But this the real thing, and he made some big time mistakes. Benching DeMar. look, I mean, if you're gonna go there, go down with your horse, especially in the playoffs. The young fellas ain't ready yet. You know, if they were, they would have played better. You know what I'm saying? All series long, you don't double LeBron. You know, there's no adjustments whatsoever. It's just we gonna stick to this. You know, that's bad, and that creates rift between the situation with him benching DeMar. That creates a rift that we may not see, but
Right.
you know, it's a distrust because it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? And DeMar was professional about it. He didn't make a big scene, but if you're a competitor worth your soul, even though he was playing bad, you'd be like, man, dang, man, I'm a big part of the reason why we here in the first place. And you just, you bench me, then you bench Ibaka, you start Van Vliet, you benched Jonas last night, and he came off the bench. LeBron, that's why I said all season I never believed in this team. LeBron has that franchise from the top down,
Yes.
mentally.
We saw that last year.
Yeah, and you see it. You just saw it throughout the playoffs. The Pacers ain't cared. They were just like, we gonna rumble. Y'all beat us. Well, we gonna give everything.
And that's why they got as far as they did with it.
These dudes was playing prevent, offense,
Yeah.
all series long, and it was easy for LeBron. LeBron was like, this is like practice, like we playing pickup. That's how he looked. It was no challenging him whatsoever, and you know, for that, I think he might take that L because it's just like, man, they gotta look at the top dog. But I'm gonna say this: he shouldn't be the only one that go. There's a lot of people on rosters need to go, man. And one of them superstars, I hope they ain't bought a house. You know, I hope they rent. I'm just giving the buck, and I don't wish that, but you just gotta be honest.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
business.
and look, that's all you can do with, and that's why, like, I agree with you, and I think it's coming from a very fair place. There is definitely, there's definitely warrants for firing him. At the same time, like I love how you just brought up, there's warrant for looking at the players on the roster as well.
That's why I feel like it's a whole. It's not just one person, but like sometimes somebody has to take the L, unfortunately, and a lot of times it's usually the head coach. Unfortunately, again, but like you said, it's a business. That's what I'm saying. To me, it's always so hard to make that decision because it's like, as a grown man, I can't make another grown man do what I tell him to do. I can lay out the plan. I can tell you should do this, you should do that. But ultimately, he's not on the court. He's not shooting the shots. He's not playing defense. He's not doing all of that stuff. But he's the one that puts together the game plan. So it's hard to kind of dictate who's going to be the one to take the L.
Somebody taking it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they already took it for real, but
Another one.
Former Duke star Wendell Carter mother said she likens the NCAA rules to slavery. Her speech was, when you remove all the bling and bells and the sneakers and all that, you pay for a child to come to your school and do what you wanted him to do for you for free, and you made a lot of money when he did that. And you got all these rules in place that say he cannot share in any of that. The only other time where labor does not get paid, but yet someone else gets profits, and the labor is black and the profit is white, is in slavery. To be honest with you, it's nauseating. Thoughts?
she 100% right. To me, this ain't nothing new. This is what we've been talking about for the last however many years. It's just that she put it so eloquently, and she found a proper analogy with it that a lot of people can maybe sit down and be like, dang, maybe I didn't think about it like that. But the way she spoke on it makes you think that, because I mean it's a lot, because like even when I was in high school, trying to do whatever I thought I was going to do, just listening to all the rules, the clearinghouse, all this other stuff, you're like, Jesus, like if I blink too fast, am I gonna get in trouble? Like what is it? But yet and still, I always I appreciate the fact that they have this allow people to go to school, because a lot of them can't go to school, without that. They're not going to be able to get a good education. So I personally appreciate it for that sense, but I feel like some of the rules are just too wild. It's just too extreme. And for them not to be getting compensated in some type of way outside of getting an education, because I mean, like, it's ridiculous, especially all the hours they have to put in, all the traveling they have to do, and still on top of that, keep a good GPA, stay out of trouble. And then you still got to remember, they 17, 18, 19, and 20, they ain't never, a lot of them, some of the ones that are that kind of grew up in the AAU bracket and, you know, are used to kind of being in the spotlight and everything like that, those ones are cool. But the ones that didn't really get that, you know, as soon as you get a little bit of light like that, you don't know what to do sometimes. So, you know, I feel like something has to give, but I definitely like her analogy, and I love the way that she, you know, spoke on it, and it's true.
This is nothing new. We've been talking about this for years, at all. But one thing I wish they do for all the people who like to fight back against, you know, these things or try to claim that, you know, the comments are just out of place and all this other thing. I just wish the NCAA be more transparent. You know, when kids, when student athletes want to take certain classes, tell us why they can't take those classes. Because if they're truly there to do that thing, and if it somehow interferes with what they're there for, if your academic is supposed to mean more than your athletics, why is it that they can't pursue a certain path, a certain curriculum, if it bumps against your training or anything else? Like we keep hearing academic. So why can't they? They all can't pursue the curriculums that they really want to, because it's just not possible with the time of the day for the other reason that they're there, which we're told is secondary. Yet it seems like that's the primary reason. So just be transparent with it, so all the people that always have something to say, so you can see the hours and how they're divided up, because it's just really interesting to me. But this is nothing new, man. Like, we've been talking about this.
I mean, obviously, I feel the same as y'all. I mean, athletes should get paid. You should have that opportunity to go pro if you choose to. The only thing I don't like about what she said was slavery. I feel like it's disrespectful to our ancestors because it's not slavery. Man,
That's a good point.
Say plantation mentality, say something along those lines. I could rock with that, but slavery, nah, because you have a choice. Wendell Carter didn't have to go to Duke. He don't have to play college basketball. He don't have to play basketball at all. He's choosing to.
The fact that you have a choice, as you said, makes it not the other thing.
Slavery, you didn't have a choice.
You are correct about that.
It was either do this or watch something horrible happen to you,
your family,
or somebody else, and we gonna make an example. And you know, and a lot of people want to argue that no, it's still slavery. I'm gonna use my own personal experience. I'm gonna ask y'all: have y'all ever had a gun put on y'all?
I have not.
No.
Okay, I did. In sophomore year in college, just pick up down the Tucker Road, dunked on the guy. He ain't like, I ain't flex on him or nothing. He just ain't like it. As soon as I turned my back around, he had a gun on my stomach. So a whole lot of thoughts ran through my mind. Should I hit him, try to escape? Or should I move to the side real quick? Should I grab his hand with the gun and move it out the way? All those options came back a negative because he had this gun right in the middle of my stomach. So right. I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm more just like trying not to provoke this dude because he got the upper hand. And any way he shot me could have been in my life, or I could live or be messed up. So luckily his boys calmed him down, pulled the gun away, whatnot. My whole point is bring that analogy up and that situation up. That's what our ancestors face all the time. You don't have a choice under those circumstances. So for people to keep throwing that out there, to me, is lazy and it's not right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Adjust it as correctly as how you should. And, you know, when you bring something that strong, you turn a lot of people off. See, now, with her message she was trying to get across, like, we need the NCAA to step up. Exactly. We need the NCAA to step up, pay these athletes, or give us a real reason why you should, like, be real.
The message gets lost, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't want to hear it no more. They're like, slavery, you see what I'm saying?
Here y'all go again.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it don't apply there. So if you talk about the mentality, I'm with it. But saying that's the only thing I disagree with her. But obviously, yeah, you gotta pay the players, man. Sooner or later. Now I'm like this. I'm gonna be more detailed. All players should get paid the same.
I agree with that as well.
Because if you're going to see Duke play, you're going to see Wendell and.
I'm not going to see the equipment manager.
Exactly. You're not seeing this man. I don't even know his name. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? So you're not going to see them. So. We don't want to hear all that. It's similar to the G League. Like I hear a lot of G League guys saying, or people who watch G League saying, man, they need to be getting paid way more. Yeah, but you don't generate the money that the NBA guys do. I see the games and stuff like that. No, those arenas are not packed out. So maybe you should get paid a little bit more, but you shouldn't be getting paid millions of dollars because y'all not generating millions of dollars though. So that's business. That's just real. And
the other thing is think about the opportunity you have while you might not be earning that much at that moment. The ability to play underneath the NBA umbrella, underneath that conglomerate, and the fact that most of these teams are, affiliates, you can be caught up. That isn't a look that someone who plays overseas that may be making more money, you're around these people every day. They're not. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to keep that in mind. But, what we got next?
Eagle safety, Malcolm Jenkins says sponsors have been reluctant to work with him over activism. What are your thoughts?
I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised. Once again, it's a broken record. It's just like with the girl. I don't even remember her name because she doesn't even deserve for me to remember her name. But the journalist that told LeBron to shut up and dribble. It's the same mentality. They're like, shut up and play football. Like, I don't want to hear all of that other stuff, and it's disheartening because, at the end of the day, these are men first. These are black men first. They are athletes, but they are black men first. So they should be able to speak their piece and be themselves and, be for what they want to be for and speak out what they want to speak out about. It shouldn't hurt their chances of, getting sponsorships and doing all of this other stuff. And to think about all the good that they do is the other part that's disheartening because Malcolm Jenkins is, one of the most philanthropist people in the NFL. He gives back. He talks about that stuff all the time. So I'm not surprised at all.
I mean, how can you be surprised? Like, look at where Cap and Eric are. So
and then they say Eric about to sue too for collusion.
He joined with Cap already. But again, how can you be surprised? Like, you watch one of your brothers already. You see what happened to Cap already, right? You can't be surprised by this. I understand everybody was for you for a little bit, but at some point, the longer you stick with it, you're going to get pushed to the side the Cap's on. While you're still in the league, which is a blessing because the Eagles haven't gone that far with it, right? I understand your endorsements are being taken, and I appreciate that he's saying it, sharing that, but you can't be surprised by this. With the NFL, it's been a lot of words and little action thus far. Like, yeah, we'll help you to a degree, but not to that degree. Like, you can speak up for those people to, like, this point, here's the line. Past that point, and that's where it's at. And Malcolm Jenkins will probably be headed close. If he continues to get closer to that line, I still think he'd be an Eagle until that contract runs up. But once that contract runs up, sir, we know where you're going. You're going to join that group that is currently out of the NFL. So I'm not shocked in the least bit. But we probably got time for one more after you answer.
Reports are that Rodney Hood refused to sub in the last night series country win over the Raptors. According to the Athletics, Jason Lloyd, Tyronn Lue attempted to substitute Hood in for LeBron James with a 30-point lead with 7 minutes and 38 seconds to play. And Howard, the fourth-year player, refused to enter the game, angering his teammates. He had a rough series, going just 1 for 9 from the floor, scoring 2 points in 39 minutes through the first 3 games. The struggling guard had lost his spot in rotation to rookie Cedi Osman, and before Monday's night game, Lou made it clear he expects more out of the 25-year-old. Thoughts?
Like, I don't understand. To me, being in the NBA is like people's lifelong dreams. You get in and play when your number is called because at the end of the day, it's about the team, number one. It's not about you. You're not the end-all, be-all of everything. And number two, like, to me, like, so many things can happen from it. Yeah, your place may not be in Cleveland forever. It may not be. But you never know. That could have been a time that you got in and you did amazing and you balled out or whatever. And somebody that may have thought that you wasn't good might have took a second look at you. You never know, to me. I feel like you take all of your opportunities as they're given to you. And I feel like that was a slap in the face of his teammates and of the organization because they brought him there for a reason. He was a part of that big shakeup that happened in Cleveland earlier in the year. So, I mean, because I'm like, you don't want to play now. Like, you think you too good for garbage time. Like, I'm not going to play you for real. Like, you lost your spot, and now you're gonna cry about it, and you're going to mope, and you're not going to do what you need to do to get it back, is what you basically saying.
I mean, look, I don't really have anything to say about it at all. Obviously, probably don't expect Rodney to be back in Cleveland next year. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. You can go ahead, Cardell.
I mean, regardless if you're frustrated over your play or the fact that, I was at the gym when they were up 30 at the end of the third, and I'm like, why is LeBron still in? I putting myself in the shoes, I kind of feel where he's mad at. He's like, come on, dog. Like, man, we up 30, man. Even people in the gym like, why he in? It's kind of like, what is he padding stats or something like that? Like, what's the point? Y'all up 30. Like, put the bench players in, let them rock out. The Raptors waving the white flag, the Rosen got kicked out, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I understand, but at the same time, regardless of how you feel, if it's you pissed at that situation, you gotta be professional. I think a lot of players lose the fact that before athlete, you're a professional, and you gotta move a certain way. If you pissed at this situation, fine, go in there, go to work, take it out on the other team and stuff like that. And then when the time is right, like you said in the off season, I'm not coming back to Cleveland, and.
Or speak your piece after the game, like as a grown man. Like
Yeah.
come to him like, I mean, I understand you did this and this is why you did that. This is how I felt about the situation. But like you said, you're a professional athlete. You get paid to go play. So right now, I'm telling you to go play and you're not playing. So why are we paying you?
And the thing people gotta understand is, I know people get caught up in this narrative that LeBron makes players better. This is not his fault for how Hood acted. It's not easy playing with LeBron. He's so ball dominant. And if you're a wing that need a ball, he takes away from what you could do. It's a reason why. It's more to the reason why Kyrie left. He takes away from your overall game. Like Rodney Hill was averaging 17 years old. We saw him come and go to work on the Wizards. And then he come here, he averaging 4 in the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? That's a hard in the same season for a young player. That can mess with your psyche. And it's just like, dude, like, it's Chris Bosh said it years ago when Kevin Love first got there. He said, look, he said, Chris Bosh said, look, man, it's not easy playing with LeBron, but Kevin Love gonna have to figure it out. But he understand what I'm saying. And Chris Bosh was the first to go through that because everything was catered to D-Wade and LeBron. Chris Bosh went from an average of 24-12, come back, he averaged 9. You see, that's a hard drop off. And what people don't understand, when it comes time for contract negotiations, you and no team, they go like, you averaged 9 points last year. Man, I was playing with LeBron, sorry.
They don't care about that situation, man.
You go from 100 mil to like 50. And you like, man, and now you pissed. It's hard, man. It's a hard pill, but you must always stay professional because you don't know when that's going to come back to bite you. You don't know, like, how he ended that. He might ruffle some feathers with the GM, Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue might not be coaching there after LeBron go. He might, let's say he get fired, get hired somewhere else. Rodney Hood might be a free agent looking for a new team. I'm not messing with him. I remember what you did. And so it can burn you, or one of the assistants can get a job and all that. And be like, man, look, I can't mess with you. I know what you did. We got a young team. I ain't got time for that. So you got to always do the right thing regardless of what's going on. But like I said, man, it's hard playing with LeBron, man. It's tough. So you just got to stay on your game.
Thank you for saying everything that I could have. I couldn't put that sense of.
Hey, man.
I was thinking of it. I just couldn't put the words together as nicely as you did. So I appreciate it, sir.
Look, we gotta keep it real.
I just couldn't couldn't put the words together.
People get it misconstrued where it's like you make players better by just passing the ball. That's one aspect. For real, you make players better before you can touch the court. But they definitively know their roles and they can maximize their abilities within those roles. A lot of players, when they play with LeBron, don't have the same production they had before or after.
I said this.
I'm looking at the Utah series. I'm seeing Crowder hitting step back threes against Houston, the best team in basketball record wise and all that. But people don't want to see all that. So do he really make players better? I see Kyrie. Before he got hurt, he's showing more in his game. I'm like, you had that in you, dog. Outside the scoring, respect. So D-Wade showing flashes of the flash. You know what I'm saying? How he used to be. Isaiah Thomas go to the Lakers to go to work. They gonna probably keep him.
Probably, yeah.
He was see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta look at this. So, you know what I'm saying? But other players, they say don't make guys better. You know what I'm saying? But those players sacrifice to make their teammates better, and they want more. So something they adding up. But that's just me. Me looking at basketball. I ain't gonna take shots.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Cardell, hope you get better.
Yeah.
Except I know the allergy struggle is real. We'll see y'all next week, same time, same place. As always, get over to Find Us Mag, mymotorsports.com. This was another episode of The Focus.